joining this next Sustainable Herbs Program webinar. We've had a little bit of technical challenges, and so some of the other speakers will be joining in, right now, hopefully. And before we begin, I'm just going to quickly share a few slides. So I'm really looking forward to this conversation today, which is certifications and sustainability, a view from the field. It's really a chance to hear from those who are tasked with implementing these certifications. And this conversation follows the webinar last month, which was certifications from the perspective of those setting those certifications and standards. UEBT, EcoCert, FairWild, and ICEO. And that information is, so what I've done is I've created highlights from that webinar, and it's posted on the Sustainable Herbs Program blog. So you can find that there, as well as see the, watch the whole recording. And I actually really encourage you to watch it, because it's a remarkable opportunity to see these people in conversation with each other, not just giving a presentation. And the next event that we have is something else I'm really excited about. And this is a half-day conference that's directed at anyone, but really practitioners, anyone who's using herbal products in their work, to talk about the connections between sustainable and ethical sourcing and quality and efficacy. And there's information about that on the Sustainable Herbs Program website. If you look at the top, there's a tab that links you to that event, and we're taking registration for that on Eventbrite. That's April 27th. And it has a lot of key leaders and experts really thinking about these issues who will be speaking. And as always, these webinars are made available for free through the generous support of our members and underwriters. And you can find out who those underwriters are on our website and more about those companies. And it's also made available for free through the membership in American Botanical Council. And you can find out more information about joining ABC at herbalgram.org. So with that, I want to stop sharing and really welcome the speakers and the participants today. And also, as you're joining, it would be great if you could introduce yourself in the chat and say where you're joining from and what your line of work is. So, and I want to take a moment to read through these bios of the speakers, because they've all done really remarkable work, and I want to honor that. So first, Elisa Aragon, who's joining us. She's the co-founder and CEO of Nihal, which is a company based in Latin America that produces essential oils, extracts, and spices. These ingredients are used in the perfumery, flavors, aromatherapy, tea, and spices industries. Since 2009, Elisa has been working to create a new standard in sustainable and ethical sourcing. Her company writes and implements its own certified sustainable methodology and places social and environmental aspects at the heart of all its operations. Elisa completed her studies in chemistry at the perfume school ISIPCA in Versailles, and after a master's degree in entrepreneurship and innovation, she founded Nihal. Welcome, Elisa. And Gero Diekmann is joining us from Namibia. He's the director of Ecosodynamics. Gero was born in Namibia, and he grew up on a cattle farm where he discovered his passion for nature. When he took over his family farm, he studied holistic management, which is a system that focuses on sustainable decision-making and considers ecology, economy, and the social aspects simultaneously. The name Ecosodynamics expresses the relationship between humans and their environment. With his wife, Dorothea, they have built a company that specializes on the supply chain management and export of devil's claw. Welcome. And then Khilendra Gurung, who maybe is having trouble with his video still. Anna, if you're able to do any troubleshooting with that, that would be great. Khilendra Gurung is the managing director of Himalayan Biotrade in Nepal. He spent 23 years of experience in enterprise setup, technology transfer, quality management, and marketing of natural products. He's worked as a consultant for the Nepal government and various national and international agencies and corporations throughout Nepal, focusing on the assessment of non-timber forest products, medicinal and aromatic plants, botanical ingredients, and certifications, including Fair for Life, FairWild, and Organic. And then finally, Nihal Singh, who is joining us from India. He is a young agripreneur and the managing director of Pavitramith Fair Organic. In 2015, with the vision of healing the earth socially, economically, and environmentally, he began working with 300 smallholder farmers to produce organic products using regenerative organic farming practices. He started his own business, Creation Biotech, in Uttar Pradesh, India, to export organic products internationally. In 2018, he founded I'm not pronouncing it correctly, Pavitramith Fair Organic with the same vision. He currently works with 3,800 smallholder farmers to practice regenerative organic farming in India. Welcome, and Deepika, welcome also. Nihal and Khilendra, if you are having trouble with your video screens, can you type in a message to Anna Jackson in the chat, and hopefully she can troubleshoot and help with that. So welcome everyone who's here. Great, Nihal, good to see you. Elisa, I wanted to start with you and see if you can begin and just talk about why certifications are important for your company and sort of specifically what they bring.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for everyone that joined and for all the panelists that are here together that we already met a few days ago. Well, I think that I have two real purposes at Nelixia on why we do certification. We finished these on 2022 to get audited the main catalog for all the products that we have at Nelixia. And why did we do that is that we have two main objectives. I think that the first objective is to have a third party come in to see what you're doing. I think we're all trying to, well, I think I will start from scratch before saying why I need a third party of coming to see it. But I think that what we need to understand is sustainability. It's multidimensional. How do you achieve a certification? It's a lot of step-by-step processes. It's a lot of legal trainings. It's a lot of things that needs to get together to be able to get certified. And why do we do a certification is because we believe it is the real path to build a more sustainable world. But this path that we choose, it's our day-to-day work at Nelixia. We have an internal methodology, as you explained in my bio, that we developed even before getting ourselves certified. And the idea of getting this methodology achieved at the source was to be able to change things at the source, meaning that we work with social issues, we work with biodiversity situations. And at the end, when you explain to your clients everything you're doing, I think that today that the whole world is very happy to understand and to be able to have a one-on-one phase that we're trying to achieve better things. But the best way to really approve it is when you have a third party coming to see what you're doing. And I think that also that is really important to understand a little bit in their industry is that sustainability cannot be achieved just by one standard or by one vision of someone. Why? Because when you're in your day-to-day and you're working in your value chains and you're trying to achieve all those legal levels of what you need to do, you see it in a one way that you will be then audited. But if you don't have someone coming to see what you're doing in a more close picture, you won't be able to see the other legal details that are the ones that be able to improve you on the long term. So I think that's very important to have someone to challenge you, to help you have a bigger look, a bigger picture of what you're doing to keep improving the value chains. So if you don't do also certification, that's also maybe another point, is that you can do a conventional sourcing, okay? You can go and be with your producer, know your producer, do trainings, build like a trust relationship, do a lot of trainings on how to improve the yields, have like code of ethics, everything that implies a standard, you can do that. But if you don't, sorry, I'm sorry, I was a little bit maybe on the other part of the why. Let me get organized my ideas again. I am sorry. I think that what is important about certification is that you are proving to the market that you're heading to a better standard, to a better practices at the source, okay? So I think if we at this level, we all agree that we do like certifications. But to get to the path, how do we at the source get to be able to get audited? I think that's the real challenge. And why we as a company believe that we need to get this path is because this path gets all the multidimensionalities of sustainability into account, okay? So I think that's really why certification is important. But us as a company, what I think it's important to get certified is to prove our clients that all the work we're doing at the source is really what we're talking about. Okay, so I think that's the first. Sorry, I was a little bit like going on every senses a few minutes ago. But so if we prove to our clients, I think that's the first thing as a company that we need to do, because we've been having a lot of people saying, hey, I am sustainable. And well, they build a school, which is fantastic. And they believe that just by building a school, they can claim themselves sustainable. But actually, sustainability is not only about a school. Sustainability, it's a whole dimension. It's a lot of little things. And that's why I think we need to help also our client and our consumer on that. If you're buying a certified product, you are being assured that all those legal details are taken into account. And then the other one, the challenge I was talking about, is because when you are in your day-to-day and you're doing your certification, I think everyone here around the table has so many methodologies and trainings and templates, and how do they address the communities, how they talk with the communities. We all have like our own way and method to achieve it. And sometimes you think you're like doing everything properly, which I think we're trying to get there. But sometimes you forget a little things. You forget little things that are very important, that needs to have someone come in and challenging you, say, hey, did you really think about this point? And I can give you an example. Like I have the cardamom certified in Guatemala, and this cardamom is certified, and we audited. It got like a UEBT verified, and UEBT and the verification has different levels. They have responsible and they have ethical. Ethical meaning that you go beyond. And we managed to have a very good score, and we managed to get almost to ethical, okay? And we have like 4 non-conformities, and on those 4, one of them was child labor. And they said, actually, maybe did you really assess the risk of child labor in your value chain? And when I got that non-conformity, I was like, of course I assess it. And I have all the internal like assessment, and I can prove you with all the papers I have that there is no child labor in this value chain. And after the auditor really exchanged with me and said, but yes, great, fantastic in this value chain. And I think that's fantastic. And it's an unconformity that we can rise. But have you thought of the whole value chain? Because actually, it's not only about the 40 producers that you're working with, but it's the 350,000 producers around. Because it is a scope, but it's also about improving things on the country and on the value chain, not just like legal kind of small producers, how you can improve things on the high level. And I was like, it's a very good question. Actually, it's a very good question, because how do I make myself sure that I am really changing the paradigm of my producers, of the importance of not having like illegal work on kids on my field? And I said like, yeah, maybe I need to do like a more bigger research and understanding of the whole value chain on how we can improve this. I think it's a hard one. I don't want to even address this issue because it's like, it's touchy. I don't know how my clients will think of that. I know that I have no child labor in my company and in the value chain, but how do I really make sure that I am really improving this thing in my country, in this area? And when they give you that look and they open your eyes, you start thinking a little bit differently. So maybe even the day-to-day, the action plans you have for your value chain, it will be a little bit different. You will do trainings like are more open. Maybe you will invite kids on those trainings saying, hey guys, do you go to school? Why school is so important? So I think those kind of like challenges and change of paradigms can come from someone from outside that challenge you on your day-to-day. And that's why it's so powerful for us, and we believe that it's good and we invest on that because we need that challenge. We want that challenge because otherwise it's so easy to come someone saying, okay, that's right, that's wrong, that's right, that's wrong, thank you, bye. No, we need that challenge because that's the only way to improve things at the source, and we need that improvement. It's a path. And the last thing is that what I really need to transmit as a message at the source is that certification is not that you are good or not good. It's not that you achieve it or not achieve it. I think that what it's really interesting is the path. It's the path of getting there. And maybe you are 80% of the standard year one, and then 85, then 80, 90. And I think that path, it's the one that we need to share with our clients and with the market, because you cannot change communities. You cannot change things at the source from one day to another. It takes a lot of time. And I think that's something that we really need to understand. And when to do certification, sometimes we believe that we achieve everything and everything is fantastic. But my message is we still need to do a lot. And when we have the auditors, they help us to do all the other things that needs to be improved. So yeah, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, I wanted to follow up with you and see if you could share some of the specific ways that the certifications, I think it's mainly Fair for Life with you all, have had an impact, led to concrete specific changes in working with the wild collectors of Devil's Claw. You're muted.
Thank you, Anne, for this great opportunity. I think we are certified organic and also Fair for Life. And both of these certifications had a profound impact on our supply chain, especially in two ways. Firstly, on our harvesters. So with all the organic, with the training that goes with the organic certification, there's a huge amount of awareness that needs to be created around sustainability, around the environment, and people to understand why it's so important to really harvest sustainably. Of course, in terms of the processing, it's also, this awareness of contamination, of hygiene, the risk of contaminations, and how you handle the product really has made a very big difference in the quality of the product, of course, which is a big impact also on our customers. Of course, organic or Fair for Life do give an additional unique selling point, so that also our customers are able to market our product or rewarding for the whole supply chain. And this boils down to the really important things, that is the increased income for our harvesters. Many of our harvesters do only depend on Devil's Claw, on harvest of Devil's Claw. So any change in the price is welcome to them and helps them to increase their livelihoods. Of course, the sustainability aspect cannot be emphasized high enough. So it's not only a thing that you go and grab the plants, but that you have more holistic understanding of harvesting the plant and producing it and processing it. The direct impacts that we find from our Fair for Life certification is that through the premium that our harvester or harvester groups get, which needs to be invested in a social project, has really made a big difference in their lives. So that Turipama Association that we are working with, they were able to provide a loan to its members so that all the members were able to buy a solar system for their house. So now they have light, they can charge their utensils and so on. And it's a really big step in development. Then we have a kindergarten that gets largely supported by the Fair for Life initiative. And this allows the women to bring their kids to the kindergarten and that they can also go to work and also earn an income for the household. And that really made a very big difference for the household income and the livelihood of those people. So they were planning for the next step, for the next tranche of investment, so to say, that they want to provide loans to their members so that they can buy a gas stove and the necessary gas equipment, but also make sure that all the gas supply that they will get will be handled in a very safe way. And that will just change their, you know, for now, a lot of families have to collect firewood, which of course is not that close to the homestead. They have to walk long distances to get the firewood. Now having gas really makes life so much easier for them, and there's a profound impact on them. And the other benefits are manifold. And through training processes that of course the awareness is raised at a much higher extent. The capacity is built in managing things, and really, yeah. I think these are the main issues, mainly also with the Fair for Life. It's also just increasing the price that we can pay to our producers, and that makes such a big difference in their lives.
Thanks so much. I want to say,
I think that's in a nutshell, Anne, what I have to say.
Okay, great. Shamiso, I wanted to turn to you, stay with this question of price, because it's a question I often wonder. People with FAIR certifications talk about. Oh, Shamiso just lost her Wi-Fi. Okay, hopefully Shamiso will come back, and I'll pivot around and turn to you, Khilendra, and ask if you could talk a little bit about, I mean, you can share the benefits you've seen, but also some of the challenges, I think, especially in a country like the sourcing that you all are doing in Nepal with quite remote areas, if you wanted to share what you've experienced and encountered.
Thank you so much, Anne, for inviting me as a panelist in this webinar. And I'm sorry that due to technical problem, I could not turn on my video. But anyway, so good evening, everybody from Nepal. It's 9:10 in the evening in Nepal. I'm Khilendra Gurung. So I work as a director for Himalayan Biotrade since 20 years back. And we started certification right from 2003, working as a public-private alliance in the forest certification project. And in 2005, we had like Forest Stewardship Council chain of custody certification for essential oil and handmade papers and some herbs. And that opened the door for us to have access to the great partner company like Aveda. And we supplied like handmade paper sheets for their holiday packaging until 2018. So it was the great partnership and long-term partnership for us because of the, you know, we were working together as an alliance member in a collaborative way. And in 2006, we had organic certification. both EU and USDA. And through that certification, we were able to market our product to EU market from 2007. And we had for life certification in 2016 for turtle oil. It's the vegetable oil and handmade paper product. And we were also like the member of FairWild Wildlife Friendly Enterprise Network. And we had that certification since 2009. And we had like FairWild certification from 2018 for two products, for two Himalayan products. One is Gentian, it's Kutki, and another is Jatamasi oil. And we are working on two other certifications at the moment. One is Fair for Life for wintergreen oil, and another one is SPP Fair Trade certification for wintergreen oil for one of the customer in France. So for me, like in my experience, the certification is very important for the sustainability of the product value chain, the traceability of the products. And it's like a proof that we are ethical and we are also socially responsible company. And also it's the way of improving our management system, our own company management system. It's the gradual and continuous process, and those certifications that help us for our own improvement. And it's the best way to build trust among the customers and also the buyers. And basically, it's like the marketing tool. Although there are like many opportunities, but there are also challenges with certifications. Since we have many certificates based on the market requirement, I would like to emphasize the number one challenge is the cost of certification and audit. It's yearly. As we have like 3, 4, or 5 certifications, and the audit should be like throughout the year. No, it should be throughout the year, and it costs minimum of like $5,000 or euro until how much the product or how much area we would like to certify. It depends on that. And preparation of audit, sometimes like pre-audit and also like trainings, and documentation is another challenge for us, the country like Nepal, because we work hard. Our collectors, they work hard. Our community producer groups, they work, but writing, making documents, it's really a challenge for all of us. So we need to we need to support them, or we need some support of some other organization who are working in that particular area for all those documentation, the principles, policies, rules and regulation, guidelines, preparation of manuals, meeting minutes, all those traceability, handling records, operational activities that is required by during the audit. And it's always difficult to comply with all those criteria, principal criteria of certification standards, because they are all built on like global standards. And some of our systems, they are like specific to the region, particular region. So to comply with all those standards is another challenge. And some of the certifications like organic, they require, for example, sometimes pesticide residue test. So our laboratory is not that well equipped and well accredited. So sometimes we need to depend on, we need to send samples to other laboratories in EU or in India sometimes for testing all those samples, which is required during the audit time. And sometimes auditor, they want all the water test reports, soil test reports, many testing reports. So we need to depend on that testing facility for some other testing labs in other countries. And the next is like remoteness of our collection area and also processing area. Because we are working on wild harvest as well as the cultivation items. For a wild harvest, those areas are very remote, very steep, very high altitude. Sometimes some areas are like above 4,000 meters for Jatamasi, Kutki, Rhododendron, Anthropogon, Juniper, Himalayan silver fir, those type of products. And during audit time, it's quite challenging to take auditors because they are not like well acclimatized or they are not used to working in those distance. And the auditors, they always want like all those activities, harvesting, all those activities in the sites. So difficult to organize the big groups, stay overnight in the tent or cave. And then with all those logistics, it's not easy. And there is unavailability of local inspector or the auditors in Nepal, because the regional office, they are either in India or Sri Lanka or China or some other countries. So we need to depend on auditors from the nearest one is India. We always prefer Indian auditor because they know some context. Our contexts are many similar, and because of language also. So auditors, sometimes they can read Nepali language, the Nepali script, it's the same. And many people, they understand Hindi. So we prefer Indian auditor because of cost also. Many certification bodies, their regional office are not here. That is why we need to depend on all those auditors or inspectors from abroad. So that are the challenges we are facing. So I think I have answered your concerns. So thank you.
Thank you. Elisa, I saw you raised your hand, but I want to ask Shamiso a question first while she has power. Shamiso, so I'm curious if you can respond to the questions and what's been said so far, but I'm also specifically interested in your experience with the impacts of the fair pricing, and because I always wonder how much actually goes to the hands of the wildcrafters or the farmers. And also the question of, I know sometimes there can be a challenge actually in selling a product fair certified, and it has to just be sold on the conventional market, which means that premium is lost. And so I'd love to hear your thoughts on pricing and the actual impacts and where the gaps are and what needs to be done.
Thank you very much, Anne, and thank you for this opportunity to be part of this webinar. I'm in Zimbabwe. We are going through power cuts, so I'll try and be as concise as possible, but also participate as long as I can, because I think this is a vital conversation that we're having, particularly when we are talking about producers and communities that we serve or that we work with. Fair pricing, what I have realized over the years that I've worked in the communities that I work, is that the relationship between the market and the producer, be it a farmer or a collector, is a relationship of nourishment. It's not one way. We nourish the market, and the market equally nourishes us. So the relationship should not be in any way a relationship where one of the parties becomes malnourished. And the issue of fair pricing is then what comes up. Fair pricing for us, my experience has been that through our certifications, I think Khilendra really talked a lot about, and as well as Elisa, we've really talked a lot about the benefits of certification. For us, it's really a process product quality assurance, where we are able to assure the market of the type of products that we do, and also assure them of the process that we have taken in producing these. I have seen, especially for our certified products, FairWild, organic, it has, first, in terms of pricing, it has given farmers competitive prices. If we look at what that same product goes for within our context, the ability to then export the product ensures a fair pricing for the market. The second thing that is very, very important for us, has given weight to our natural resources. You can take for granted what you always see around you. The trees are there, the forest is there, and with limited forms of employment, you tend to then overstretch the natural resources without even noticing. You start cutting firewood because you want to sell to get money. You start harvesting areas just because you want to get extra money. But when we then talk about markets that offer fair prices, markets that offer a guaranteed market, let's just start with just guaranteed market, where a farmer knows or a collector knows that if I produce, I can market. That already creates value for our biodiversity. Second layer is the layer of protecting of the environment. The more farmers find that prices are fair, the more likely they are to protect the resource that they have. You always put value, whatever you put value on, you would always tend to then protect. So I have seen in the communities that we work throughout the country that there is more conscious protection as well as preservation and contribution towards biodiversity and its protection. And this is because the prices are fair and people don't need to look for other ways of using this forest to sort of buffer them, protect them from the shocks and effects of economic downfall or climate change. Thirdly, the third thing that I saw, which was a surprise to me, is it has, especially when I talk about certification like FairWild, it has restored balance in our tradition because of urbanization, traditions, protection of land, protection of traditional knowledge, the things that make us Zimbabweans, the way we preserve our forests, the way we engage each other, the way we trade, had been lost because of urbanization. And we have seen that slowly begin to be restored just because people have markets, just because markets or certification standards require us to consciously think about traditional knowledge, consciously think about taking care of our forests, consciously engages in ways that we can creatively contribute towards the improvement of the communities that we are and that we serve. And the fourth thing that has been very key for us when it comes to fair prices is the issue of having a voice when it comes to development. We are, especially the areas that we work, I am working in mainly region 4 and 5, the agricultural region 4 and 5. These are characterized by low rainfall, poor soils, and drought-prone areas, and those areas have higher poverty statistics. When these communities have managed to market that which they have, put value on it, market it, and then get, for example, premiums from FairWild or other fair trade systems that we work, the ability to get funds back and make a decision for themselves on what those funds can be used for is in itself a restoration of dignity. Because more often than not, they rely on aid that comes packaged the way the funder wants it to be packaged. But here's an opportunity for communities to then decide for themselves what it is, almost like a bottom-top approach, what it is exactly that they want. And I've seen the pride that communities have when they're able, like Gero said, to have the preschool and earn an income there, or contribute to its construction, or contribute towards the development of the next generation. And restoration, again, of oral tradition. The more people see things being done, the more they want to participate. And the next generation also is really beginning to catch up, and the youth are also beginning to catch up. So this lost generation that had been lost due to economic decline is being assimilated again, because there's this veil of dignity that has been covered because of the fair prices. I live in a country where agriculture was the backbone of our economy. And over the years, we've seen farmers and collectors disillusioned because of prices that they meet at the market, especially for conventional products. But when it comes to certification and the accountability that comes with certification, you can then see people, my generation, the generation before, and the generation after me, also considering getting into agriculture, also considering guarantee systems like certifications, so that they know that their prices are guaranteed and the markets are guaranteed, and also beginning to treasure this country and really recalibrate our approach when it comes to utilization of our natural resources. So in a long, not shortish answer, I think we have benefited positively through the fair pricing that comes from certification. And I wanted to also add on with what Khilendra said about the challenges of certifications. Of course, for us, what would be beneficial is more and more various countries, we're all competing in this global market, bringing in, if you look at hibiscus, it's in different countries. If you look at baobab, it's in different countries. Now we are competing on upping each other on standards. I have organic is no longer enough. I have FairWild is no longer enough. Next standard, and we keep increasing. And these standards individually carry enormous costs that is inhibiting when it comes to growth of the certification, or when it comes to costs for collectors and farmers. If there are ways where some of these can be synced, I know that there are certifiers and certifying bodies listening, because this multiplication of standards, that when the inspector comes in, it's almost like a duplication of the same standard that has a different name with just maybe 3 different questions, but the essence is the same, is then a bit of, I think it's one of the challenges that we are facing, where you're doing the same work, you have to have multiple databases that look almost the same, and then there are slight variations of questions. Is there a way for more certifiers to collaborate, so that when you look at the one certificate, you know that a person has also responded to that? Or when certification happens, one inspector, for example, I know it happens for organic certification, one of the bodies that we use also certifies for FairWild. Can there be more of those to just reduce the pressure of the funds that we desperately need to use in our context to develop our communities better, and also to continue the work and replicate it in other communities or in other districts within the country? I think that one was a biggie for me. Yes,
Thank you.
I think I should stop here.
There's so many important themes that you've picked up on and introduced. I do know in the last webinar, they did talk about ways that they're trying to respond to exactly that: combine audits, reduce duplication, and all of that. I'm not an expert on that, but they were talking about that there. I know, Elisa, you had your hand up, but I also want to invite Nihal a chance, and I'm not sure who's speaking for Pravamente, Nihal or Deepika, but I wanted to invite you to join in. And specifically, I'm thinking about some of your comments when we spoke around the challenge and importance of verifying the farmers in your network, that they're actually using organic practices. You know, this is especially maybe on people's minds with the Kenyan sex scandal around the certified fair trade farm tea. But I'm curious about your thoughts about what you do to ensure and make sure that the practices are actually followed on the ground.
Thank you, Anne, for inviting us for this great webinar. And good evening, all of you from India. My name is Nihal Singh, and I am living here in Bareilly, Uttar Pradesh in India. And we are working here. I am the managing director of Pavitra Ment. And we are working here with the smallholder farmers and try to a positive change among society by regenerative organic and fair for life agriculture practices. So, and we are ROC, FFL, NOP, EU, core certified, and also we are producing here some herbs. Our major is essential oils, some other rotational crops like spices, rice, and some oil seed as well here. So your question is verifying the challenging is, so I'm coming on that because as we have so many certificates that so like ROC, FFL, NOP, EU, all that we have. So sometimes the verifying the truth of the certification is mostly what is the thing is what mostly is verifying some of documentations, mostly on the documentation, like 70% documentation, 30% other things. I am saying here, if like I'm a company, I'm a producer, I have a farmer groups. So how our farmer feeding the soil and feeding the nutrient for the crops, we are verifying that truth. He is producing enough compost and putting back to the land, or also, and what is source he have of that, and also what rotation he is applying. So that's also how the crop is how the crop nutrient demanding. Like if he growing pulses, that is less nutrient demanding crops, and no need to other. If he grow like here the wheat, then he need to feed some extra, give some extra nutrients to grow that crop. So that's we are the verifying this. And also I'm not I'm just saying it's for from my side what we are, and not only verifying. If farmer is struggling there, then we are helping to our farmers. For example, our mostly farmer, like 80% farmer have their own vermicompost unit that we have given the provide the infrastructure, training, and also the worms. Them first we have provided them vermicompost, ready-made vermicompost, so they understand the use, they know the result, and then they automatically adopt that practices, so they are making their own. Also we are producing approximately more than 30,000 ton compost, and that we are providing to our farmers. Minimum 5 ton per hectare per crops, that is our standard to fulfill the need of the crops. So that one thing. Another is the insecticide and pesticides. So if we can't find there like any the symptom of use the pesticide or farmer, in interview, farmer say no, he is not using, but still there have the another space, then what he is using? If there is the area where definitely insect has been attacked in other crops, then what he is using in spite of the chemical? So that's also we are so that's we have verified, okay, he is using this. If somebody say we don't use any chemicals and there is disease, then what he is doing? If mostly farmer is saying, if normally the insect is not attacking our crop, that's not, because we know that. So that's we are verifying. For example, for this we have educated to our farmers, because because farmers not understand the pest, what is the pest. They just using chemical, psychological sometime, not they seen one or two insect in their crop, that they just go to the shopkeeper and buy some chemicals and spray that. The pest is which insect or rodents that's make economical harm to our crops, that's called pest. If the harm is that insect harm, the harm is only $10, like, and control is $100. We have spent for control that $100, and that insect harmful only for $10. So then why we are going to control spending extra $90? So that's we have educate, not only educate, we have demonstrate to farmer, leave it as it is, we are behind you. If you have any loss, we will be at that. Then farmers see the change. So that's also the purpose of education. So sometimes, so it's not always the insect is harmful. That comes sometimes, and that's not as it is. Like if there is caterpillar, that after 1 week it's become like a pupa or something in different stage, that is not harmful for crops. So that's also, so we have educated to our farmers on this, because the thing is, if we trained farmers, like say this, that is a training, but what really they observe and what they adopt, that is adoption is going among there. So that we have demonstrated, and very patiently, because farmer have a lot of foolish questions or something that time, and he afraid because he have a small land, and he thinks might we, if we have lose our crops, then we have a very he will be definitely like struggle to survive their daily needs, to fulfill their daily needs. So we give the assurance. Now farmer have so we have built this, in this way we have built trust in our project area. So now if we say to farmers, if there is standing crop, please plow this crop, and we are giving another crop, and we will take care of your economical like incomes or something. So now farmer is like farmer have this much trust to us. So this is the things to verifying the trust, the fact, because this the and also here is the very big support from the we get from the buyer side. Like we have our very valuable buyer. One of our buyer is Dr. Brunner Magic Soap from USA. They're supporting us. Not only they paying value of the product, they also support us to how can we resolve the things, like they educate us, and also they come they join hands to, if there is any challenges, to fight with them. And also another a great buyer is Gaia Herbs from USA. That's also that, like now I think Gaia have FFL certified, but before that they was not, I think before that, but they are paying the value. They understand the value what we are putting there, like ROC, they are paying all premium to us. Even they are buying just organic from us. So they're just not seeing the level. they understand the value of the product, and they trust us what we are doing, and they understand that trust is very valuable for us. So we maintain that trust, because the organic world is still small, like organic business. And it's very beautiful, because we are the generation who is trying to make sustainable the natural resource which has been destroyed by the bad agriculture practices. That whatever reason behind this, but that agriculture practices was bad. So we are the generation we can save. Otherwise, if we not care of this, then we all know that and after like 10 or 15 years, the situation will be worst, more than but, and might be not in control. So that step we have taken, that is very good step. And I am saying here, this is that all the natural resources is divine, all that the elements which make us, that is divine elements, like soil is first, water is water, air, and fire and sky, that 5 element make us. So that says divine elements. So we are trying to we are doing some work to save, like to conserve them. So that is the beauty. So we are not doing only business, we are doing something divine. And so that's the honors we always enjoying, and that's give the energy for us for work. And that time, that energy has been doubled when the buyer is appreciate our work. Like I give example, Gaia and Dr. Gunnar, another Valida from Germany, and Philevex. They all come, they all is appreciating this, and also paying the value. They contributing themselves as well, because on that. So this is because agriculture is not only the farming, it's farming plus culture. If we just looking the part only the farming, that is not complete the agriculture. Agriculture is a whole ecosystem. There is birds, there is animals, there is trees. So all have their contribution in that rodents. So so we understand that, and also community, because community is first there, and climate, everything is in the agriculture. So we create a culture, and we or not create, we adopt the culture, because we are not create, we adopt the old culture, agriculture, what our old agriculture was, that we can, if we adopt that, and with this modern technology as well, some tools, some technology tools. So that is very that is very helpful. So this is the things. And another thing is I'm saying, because our customers, who is our valuable customer, who is they are buying that the Fair for Life or regenerative certified ready product, they consuming that our customers. So they also they are also contributing the same in what they are also buying that, not only for chemical free, just organic, but ROC, regenerative, and FFL, that's also another value additions. So they care of that and they are becoming the part of this things. And one thing I'm so this is that the verifying fact. And also another thing I'm mentioning here, I like to mention, because some of for example, like certification, sometime we have FFL, Fair for Life, that is fair trade and fairness, like all that supply chain, the fairness in supply chain, they all that certificate has been assured. But if our some buyer need that fair trade, then we can't supply the fair for life. And same for the ROC, NPOP, NOP, EU, lot of thing is common. We are doing in this certificates, that's of course cost effective, cost consuming, also have the time consuming. So that time or cost we can put the real change, like we can support more to our farmers if we set some of standards, like this is for fairness, this is for this, and that globally we can go with that. So that is if we can do like this, some things become common agreement. This is just my suggestion for that. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. There's so many important key points that I'm not going to try and summarize, except a theme I hear, and Elisa, I want to ask you to respond as well. You can, if your point is still relevant from before, but that there's this complex ways that each of you are working in the communities, and that certifications kind of help, but not necessarily, they don't meet that complexity of culture and agriculture and the relationship. And so I'm curious, from your point of view, I know you all have developed your own standard, what that helps you accomplish, and also what buyers can do to better support your ability to meet the needs of the communities where you're working as best as you can with the resources you have.
Yeah.
No, I'm asking Elisa that.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah, I'm sure Shamiso has also a great input. Well, I think that the biggest challenge, as I hear everyone talking, is how do we assess, how do we manage to accomplish all the work we're doing at the source? And I think that's really like I would love to discuss more with Shamiso on how she approached the community when they have the 10% amount of the FairWild percentage, and how the community assess that, because sometimes I do have challenges to get everyone to have like a common project. So I think that certification is fantastic when you achieve it and you have the stamp and you have the audit, but the path to get there, I think we have as much as ways of getting there as people getting certified. And if there is something that we need, I think it's like a little bit like, I would love to have like a step-by-step methodology. And that's something that we are trying to achieve. We took all the certifications we're working with, like Fair for Life, FairWild, UEBT, Rainforest Alliance, and try to put all together, meaning that they're all asking a little bit of the same, and how you can have your own template to work with it. So when the auditor comes, maybe he would like to see his own template, but I think that when you talk with them and they're like humans and they're like happy to hear also, and you say, hey, I developed my own because I also have to have a UEBT auditor and then also have to have a rainforest one. So are you okay to work with my templates? And they are okay to work with that. They've been, I think that what we really need to develop is dialogue. I think that it's not maybe, I will say that maybe it would be very, very difficult to have all the certification body to get organized, because, well, in my way of thinking, I don't think that's very feasible on a midterm, but what it's very more tangible is to open a dialogue with the auditors. Because what I think it's very important, not just like to listen to the source and just note and okay, thank you, bye. I think that what it's really important is that auditors get to dialogue with you, meaning that if they don't have the right amount of template that they would like to see in front of them, they ask you, do you have other things? And they have the ability to take the question in so many other dimensions that maybe you will be able to answer, yes, actually I do that. Can I show you this? And what I really love UEBT on the verification, because UEBT verification tool, it's about exchange. And what we need on this, what do we do this? It's to do things better, finally. So if we want to do things better, if there is no dialogue with the guy that comes, or girl, sorry, with the person that comes to do the audit, if you don't get to dialogue and he doesn't get to understand really the value chain, you don't have any value on that. So maybe it's not exactly the answer, but what when I raised my hand, it was like, I feel that we all struggle on how we achieve it. And I think it's this achievement where the value is. And of course, and I think we also need, as a source, explain all the work we're doing, everything that Shamiso explained, the respect to gain dignity. When you have a client explaining that a certification is giving you that, it's so easy to sell. You know, it would be, I hope so. If we give them the right tools, if we give them the right tools to communicate and to understand the change at the source, it would be easier. But we are at the source, we are not communication experts, and we're trying to get there. But when I hear Shamiso, you're like, of course, this looks so powerful with all the work we're doing at the community. And it's not only about the price, when you will also talking like, do you see a change on the price? I think that all the work, yes, so we need a premium, that's for sure. I completely agree with it, but there is a huge amount of work behind that we're doing at the source with the producers that has all that value, all that wealth to the producer to gain dignity. How do you measure that? It's all about that. It's not just the premium, it's all the wealth that you will create around the path of getting on a UEBT, FairWild, FairWild Rainforest Alliance certification. And I think that's both things that the buyer and the consumer needs to understand, all the path and all the wealth that you create, and also the premium.
Thank you, Shamiso.
Thank you very much. I almost didn't say anything because Elisa kind of said most of the stuff that I really concur with. When we talk about the relationship between the buyer and the producers, my utopic way of thinking is that when a buyer or the market decides that they want to engage producers and they want certain certifications, they are also subliminally saying they're committing themselves to the essence or the spirit of that certification. So when buyers then engage producers, it's no longer transactional when you choose to go the certification route. It's no longer just a transaction. It's now relational. You've got a relationship where you want to know more. You are asking questions. You are inquisitive about what's happening on the ground. You genuinely want to see, hear stories from the field, to hear the positive impact that has taken place. So we need to move from just, okay, I'm buying baobab from Zimbabwe, it's going to whichever market, to actually, and this baobab is FairWild certified, to actually say, I have bought this FairWild product. What does it really mean to the person that I've bought it from, or the producer that I've bought it from? So it's really moving just from a transaction where money is changed and produce is given, but to actually say, in this global economy or in this world that we are living, I, as an organization, as part of our value system, are we saying that we want to have a relationship with the communities that we are working with, and we are specifically choosing these certifications for purposes of relationships and not just transactions? Because if we go beyond just transactions, I feel that there's more fluidity between the buyers and the producers, and conversations like, how can we assist you, can then begin to happen. Because when we, as we are sitting here, as well as the audience, the people and the background who are listening in this webinar, if we all had our pictures here, we all are coming up with our best faces, but there's a lot of other things that are happening behind. It takes a person who's curious enough or wants to know more to ask, okay, after this, we've bought Baobab, but is your environment that we're taking Baobab from really okay? What else is needed to take care of the producer? Because before the producer is a producer, they're a person. So to remember that these relationships are based between humans and they're not just transactional. The moment you choose to get into certification, you're saying you're going beyond transactional relationships. That's what I think, especially where buyers are concerned.
Thank you so much. I think also a lot of what you were saying is answering kind of a question in the Q&A from Genevieve or around sharing their story with customers. And I love how you really talked about moving beyond this transactional. To me, a lot of the natural products marketing is transactional, and it feels like it's for me to buy rather than bringing me into a relationship with the product and the people and the place. Gero, I wanted to invite you to respond to a question from Ed Fletcher that disappeared. He was responding to Shamiso's comment, but that others have shared as well, as the rich cultural value and I'll read it. When the harvesters are rewarded for their contributions, not just the products, but their experience, knowledge, traditions, then they will value the environment and sustainability even more. And he's asking, how can each certification, but the idea of certifications, are there ways that can better promote that broader impact in your experience with the San harvesters?
Yes. And yeah, I think this is quite a tough one, because the money, as you engage with your producers and with the harvesters, it's not always easy to match the demand with the supply. And in many cases, when prices increase because you're engaging with Fair for Life or organic, or obviously the price for the product has to raise at harvester level. And all of a sudden, maybe you're used to 5 tons. They will come up with 10 tons, but you only have a market for 4 or 5 tons. Though it's extremely difficult, and it's to balance these. And this is where also what Shamiso is saying, and the relationship that you have with a particular community, that they also trust you in what you are discussing with them, or the challenges that you find, but also understanding the producers' challenges. And I think these maybe are difficult concepts to convey in the marketplace, but to definitely have this relationship also, not only to the harvester, but also to your customer in Europe or in the United States. It's also very important that there is this understanding for each other to cater for all different scenarios, or try to balance them in it. So I think it's difficult to convey maybe cultural values in Europe for some people, but I think we are going into that. We are going into that environment where this awareness, I think it's raising the awareness, and people knowing that if they use your product at the same time, they can relate maybe with someone in Namibia or in Zimbabwe or in Peru or wherever, and that people, I think this can be a glue between the consumer and our customer and ourselves, that these messages, and it's very important that we convey those messages. And as Shamiso says, that if harvesters are working in a certification system and they see they are improving their product and the way they are harvesting, they become proud. It's just a different dimension, and how you restore, people's pride in themselves and how they can stand up for themselves and talk for themselves. And also, of course, what Elisa has also mentioned, how they use their money, how they are in power, and how are they going to use the resources they are receiving. And the impact it has on the sustainability side, because if they get more for their product, there's no use to overexploit the environment. So these are all factors that go into each other, and that really has a tremendous impact.
Yeah.
So the more we can strengthen that link to our customer and to the consumer, the better it will be, definitely, for the whole supply chain. Thank
Go
you.
ahead. Yeah, thank you. Go ahead, Elisa. And then
It would be fantastic if someone on the audience or a client that is expert on measuring impact could help us to measure like the impact we're achieving, because that would be fantastic to share. I work with an expert on satellite images, and I asked him to see satellite images from the forest of Peru Balsam, which is FairWild certified. And he went back 10 years ago, and then when Elixia started, and then when we got FairWild certified, and we even link it to the price market. And the results were like the forest is healthy when the prices are fair. The forest is not healthy when the prices are not well. And it's just one picture. It's powerful. And then the other impact was like actually, when you have a FairWild certification, and for the last 5 years, and you can really see the difference between the good practices, all the knowledge and everything that you're into the field, and you have a wealthier forest than a non-FairWild forest. And I think it was just like an example, but I think if our clients could help us to achieve more impact and how we can explain that easily to the market, that would be powerful too for us.
Yeah.
those are great examples.
Can I? Yeah. Alicia, Anna, can I?
Mhm. And then I want to make sure give time for Khilendra to chime in. Go ahead now.
Yeah, okay. So I'm just adding here the that Gero, what Gero says and that Alicia says. So regarding the buyers and the suppliers relationship, I'm in this way, as I mentioned, I'm lucky. I have such type of buyers, but I have seen other projects where is they are struggling, and also we are also struggling sometimes, because if we are not able to sell our all product in the market, because market is less and our production is higher, and nobody is willing to purchase because there is the value, our product value is little higher, and sometimes people is not care about the other values. So what I'm saying, like in this way also we can say to the community, if somebody eating something like even organic or conventional, which coming from the farms, and if say like if you know that which farmer produce this, like this vegetables or this grains which you are eating, or this product which you are using, like other like soap and others or supplements, whatever the agro product that you are using, and that farmer has been died because he can't get the price, the value of the product, and he struggle, he is not paying his loan on time, and also struggling to to their like surviving. That's why he committed suicide. In India, it happens. I have seen here. Oh, sorry. My battery is. So in this, that also we can, if we give this message to community, that's the product which you are buying, that's only not chemical free. it's giving a lot of happiness to others, like to buyers, to the growers, and also for that the farm workers. And also, for example, I give you one example, like in hello.
I don't know if we only have 10 minutes, we only have 9 minutes left, and I want to give Khilendra a chance to speak. So
Okay, I just complete in 2 minutes, because so I'm just saying, like I visiting in my project area. Then one old lady, because I have organized a medical camp there, and then that lady is new to me. And when I ask to old ladies, like I say, auntie, you know who organized this? Then she told, our son. Like for me, she told, our son is organized this. Then I say, you know that? Then she say, yes, because I know the Nihal. Then and I am friend of her. And then I say, I am Nihal. So she like she feel afraid, and she feel, I don't know the what she feel, but she feel uncomfortable, and she say, son, I have my eye, like I am little blind, and the Parvar is not have that mood, like cataract in his eyes. So we have decided, and we have give the cataract operation approximately 250 like that old ladies, which poor families. And when we go again the community, you can't imagine how much blessings they giving to us, to my team, to my buyers. I clearly, I openly explain to my to them whenever I get chance to community, because it's coming from our buyers. They supporting us, and that money coming here, and we are giving it this to you. So that's the thing, is that blessing is go to our consumer as well, like which, because that the fund we have used, that fair trade premium, or also, and our buyer support to give another fund, not only for that.
okay, I'm going to cut you off now.
Okay, thank you.
But I love, I mean, that's the broader stories to share that are beyond the transaction. Khilendra, there's a lot that's been shared, and we don't have a lot of time, but I wanted to ask you to chime in on any thoughts that are in your mind right now, points you want to make.
Okay, thank you. And again, I just want to like share my experience regarding the benefits to the community groups, and our buyers' perspective regarding the certified products from Nepal. In our experience, like once we do certification of some products in particular community groups, that we assure buyback guarantee of that products, whether we can sell that product to the buyers abroad or not, that we guarantee. And we also guarantee, like, you know, the technology, and also some sort of equipment trainings, all quality control things, the advance payment, the fair, I would say fair and premium prices in comparison to the prices that are paid by the local traders for the conventional products. So we assure that price. As far as practicable, we try to like calculate the cost for each step, and then with the producer, and then we sit together to have like the contract, and then we pay, like we fix the price, how much should be the margin, you know, calculating all the cost, and we pay that, adding that price to the premium, we pay to the producer groups. And another benefits would be, like, you know, the assurance of the quality products, because we don't work with all the producers who are producing the same products. We are working only with the reliable the producer groups. In terms of buyers perspectives, let's say that certification is one thing, one aspect. But they want to visit and then they want to meet the producer groups. They want to build, they want to create their own story for marketing. And the wherever area they chose first, they want to continue that for the long-term basis. For example, one of our customer for Timur pepper in France, they started like, you know, the sourcing from one particular area in Salyan in western part of Nepal. And we developed like the community development works together with some fund of our company SBTL and 90% of the funding from them. So we developed drinking water project and also some adult literacy class, so some training, good practices training programs, the drying facilities for them, so that they could be benefited both in terms of the premium price plus the community development work that is needed, you know, particularly in that area. That is the link, or that is the you know, the basis for sustainability and also sustainable sourcing, sustainable building the supply chain, sustainable supply chain. Together with certification. Certification is the key in between. So that is another thing. And through this forum, so I want like we should have some common voice regarding the equivalency, you know, for the certifications, because we are doing all Fair for Life, Fair Trade, or let's say FairWild, because majority of the principles, they are common. So if we like organize ourselves in a common forum, so if we have one certificate, for example, Fair for Life, it should be equivalent to Fair Trade, no? So that is my thought. So we don't know how we can do that, but I think we should try this approach. This is my request through this forum.
Yeah.
So thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all. We've come to the end of an hour and a half, and clearly we could talk much, much longer. To me, a real theme that emerged is the complexity and nuance of the work you're doing on the ground. And certifications are a tool that's come from not your community. It's something that has valuable impacts, but they perhaps could be more valuable if you sort of take the charge that Khilendra has ended with and really gather together the voice of producers more to share, okay, we hear your needs, buyers, these are ours, how can we collaborate and move this forward? So on my end, as a next step, I'll gather out the key points that there's been some really important points that have been made here, and I'll share those, and then we'll see what might emerge as a next follow-up step. Thank you all for your time and your sharing of your experience from such a heartfelt way.
Thank you, Anne, for organizing. Thank you so much. Thank you to all the panelists also.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you all of you.
Bye. Have a good night.
Bye.
Day.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
Thank you and bye everyone.